That is not the countdown I wanted.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly, and we are bringing you Transformers news from around the world and across Australia, and pretty much not very much from across Australia this week. This is, actually, you know what, there'll be a little bit. This is episode 261. We are recording live on Saturday, October 1st, 2022. We are going live on Saturday this week because it's the night after Pulsecon, and we have many thoughts, feelings, and feel opinions that we're going to feel at you right after this.
Welcome to the show. Right off the bat.
Go.
I would like viewers' consent before I feel anything at them.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you need consent for feelings. I mean, I haven't checked the Murdoch media yet, but I'm pretty sure that feelings are still free.
Okay. I give you consent, Bradley.
Yeah,
thank you, Mikey.
Mike is a very consenting person. Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Jason. You can already tell that we have a full house tonight. We have a quorum. We have Mikey coming to us from essentially down the road in Sydney, by comparison to Bradley, who's coming to us from the other side of the country over in Perth. And it is a nice welcome. Welcome back, Bradley. It's been a while since we've had you on, and welcome back, Mikey. It's been 2 weeks since we had you on.
Yeah, it's been so long. So much has happened in between, though. Yeah, it is.
Did you say not much?
I said a lot's happened since the last we've been. Yeah, it's tons, which is great.
We've had two events in Sydney. We had two conventions. One was Collecticon. It was not quite a convention, it's more just sort of an opportunity to go and buy lots of toys. But the intervening week was quite significant, being Oz Comic Con. It was a lot of fun. We had a very busy stand with a lot of TCTA volunteers helping to man it in the Sydney showgrounds. So, and you of course were one of them. Thank you. Much appreciated for the assist.
Of course.
And of course we got our hands on Earthspark figures for the first time at Oz Comic Con. We took a look at those for Toy Reel, and there's a video up on the Toy Reel YouTube channel with details and a bit of a first look. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about the Earthspark stuff, maybe a little bit later on this episode, where it does occur to me that we probably should actually talk a little bit about Earthspark. But we have this is like the night after Christmas. It's the night before Christmas, and it's the night after Christmas. It's when you come down off the
night of Christmas.
The night of Christmas. I don't know.
Like, still is.
Do you know what? I think the Christmas analogy might have been incorrect off the bat.
It's not like you wake up at Christmas and say, "Hey, these are the presents that are coming your way."
No. So if anything, I think we're actually the night after Thanksgiving, where we're all gorged full of goodness and can barely think of anything to say, and basically trying to avoid hanging out with the family. So without much further ado, who watched the Hasbro Pulse live stream this morning? I should just mention it's Saturday night in Australia. The Hasbro Pulse live stream was at 3 a.m. So it was a not insignificant ask if you were going to watch it. So did anyone get up and watch it?
Negative. I had work the next day, so no from me.
I honestly didn't know it was on, and I was up at 2 a.m. my time watching a dev stream for the game I play. So I could have watched it, but then I saw the video of it. It was like 3.5 hours, and I was like, just mention the fucking toys.
You know what? You know what? So there's a couple of things that went on. Like, since we'll talk a little bit about Pulsecon. So let's talk about the act of watching Pulsecon. First up, the favoured son of the community, Thew, got to run a live stream from the UK for the Pulse. We called it the pre-show originally, but it turns out it was the preview show. He was able to reveal and tease a few things, and did an admirable job of handling the shit that Hasbro throws at him during the stream. There was cases where it's like, oh my gosh, there's breaking news. I don't think that I was prepared for this, but here we go. So things like that. It was a bit funny. If you recall the formats of Pulsecon of years gone by, when during sort of pandemic times, Pulsecon's been a very remote event, almost like our podcast in a way, with everyone in different locations and dialing in from home and the like. But this year's Pulsecon was a little bit different. They had people in a studio. They had people sitting and talking on a couch and showing some stuff off, and they had Hasbro employees all sitting in the same room with the figures that they were revealing. So it had a bit of a different look and feel. Actually, I found the in studio video feed very dark for some reason. I don't know why that was. It was when they cut to other things, it was fine, but the in studio feed was weird. Yeah. So am I the only one who's actually watched the stream?
You are, but I do want to rewatch the Thew portion, because as most Transformers fans, we are all a big fan of Thew Adams. So that's only like if I was to stay up at least a bit, that's the only part I would stay up for. But you watched the whole thing.
I did. In fact, so
what time were you up to?
Report, Jason.
Yeah. Where are the notes?
So the notes were dutifully taken by people on TFW, and that's the source that we'll be using tonight.
Oh, lazy.
And I know. Rob Franklin says he woke up to the news of the new announcements. So yeah, fair enough. I think
so did I.
I think most of us have done that. And someone called Simon Flack says that Mikey guy is such a drunk. Yeah,
thank you.
That was such an embarrassed little laugh from Mikey there.
Blushing.
Simon is, of course, one of our cohorts on the Toy Reel Roundtable that we recorded last night
and also a member of my OnlyFans. So thank you, Simon.
Yes, I believe he is your only fan.
He is my only fan.
There we go.
I went with air conditioning.
Yeah, I mean, you're in Perth, you have to.
Thank you. That's a brilliant one. Thank you so much. But yeah, no, I was one of the ones that woke up this morning, and I think the first image that I saw that got me really excited was the Armada hotshot, which we will be talking about very soon.
Yeah, right.
That's the first thing I saw, and I'm just like, this is gonna be a good day. So more Armada hotshot.
Getting a little bit ahead of ourselves in talking about the figures. Of course, the figures are all out there. We've been looking at them all day and trying to decide which of them gets our pre-order money the mostest. And yeah, I mean, look, for me, the highlight has to be Tarn.
Oh yeah, okay, come on, why not?
Yeah. The highlight is clearly Tarn for a number of reasons, but we've seen rumors of a Tarn figure coming for months. I think we first talked about this about 6 months ago. The fact that Tarn was found in listings, and no one really knew what we were going to actually see when Tarn came to Legacy, whether he would actually be a Cyberverse. Like a Cyberverse figure coming, because Tarn was a character in the Cyberverse cartoon.
He was, wasn't he?
They would actually, or if they would actually just, if they would actually bring him in sort of his comic form. And I believe Tarn's box might be the first one that actually says Comic Universe.
Wow, that's exciting.
It is pretty exciting. I'm pretty happy about it. So look, without further ado, I'm going to put the screen share on, and we can talk about screen. I don't want to do that. Let's do it that way. So the screen share is showing the TFW coverage of this morning's reveals. Thinking about the order in which things went this morning. First up, we had core class Dinobots. So the Dinobots are this year and next year, and I think also last year counts as well. It's going to be a year of simultaneous Dinobot releases. We have leader class figures coming into the Studio Series line. They're up to 3 out of 5 of those figures so far. We are still waiting for, who are we waiting for?
Swoop and Snarl.
Swoop and Snarl.
Yes.
Snarl is up next, and Swoop is heavily rumored.
Allegedly a Voyager. Allegedly Swoop's a Voyager.
Allegedly, I heard this, but I've also seen him listed as a leader. So
As a leader? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be a shame if they actually do him as a Voyager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's a smaller guy. Like he's the smallest Dinobot, so like that's fair. Like if they're gonna do anyone, like Swoop would be the one to do a Voyager.
Yeah, possibly, but like I said, I've seen him listed as a leader, and I think that would be the best way to do justice to the team of Dinobots is by having them all in the same scale. I think.
Fair.
So we were first greeted this morning with core class Dinobots, and if I scroll to the right point in this listing, I should be able to find pictures.
Largely surprised by something about them, but yeah, we'll get to that.
Well, I think if you were surprised by this, you probably weren't paying too much attention to the rumors. But so we've got core class Dinobots. We've got Sludge there, and looking at his alt mode there.
So dumpy.
I know, like he is like we've had a tubby little UFO, and now we've got a dumpy little Dinobot.
His neck is so short. It's great.
I was quite amused actually during the stream. Evan from Hasbro said that they had a discussion about the deco for these toys with their compadres at Takara, and said, look, the G1 toy colors versus the animation colors are quite different. Which ones do you want to go for? And he said that the Takara team said, we'd like to go for the animation accuracy. I'm like, of course they do. They always do. Like, How is that a surprise to anyone?
No.
So yeah, I gotta say I have avoided the core class for the most part, and I don't really see that much of a reason to get into it. But like, the core class Dinobots are exciting particular people. Bradley, what about yourself? Are you into the dinos?
I was thinking about these earlier, and I was like, who do these appeal to?
Mm.
And I was thinking, like, maybe at a stretch, office workers. They could have like their little core Dinobots.
Yeah.
That was about it. And
you got to think there are some people do collect solely legend class things these days, and some people are very space focused. Like they're focused on saving space in their collection. So like they might only have room for like smaller figures. So maybe they can't shelve a shelf full of 5 leader class Dinobots, and if you end up taking this route, you'll end up getting 6 core class Dinobots. So
true.
That's a good point. So there is a 6th member of the Dinobot team, and that led to a few amusing comments about how you can randomly add a 6th member of the team. The 6th member is Scar. There is precedent.
Okay. Wasn't there
Scar
Slash
joining? Yeah, so Slash was added to the Dinobot team in Power of the Primes, but Scar is apparently the listing. I'm not actually sure if we've seen photographs of Scar. We've got photos of Sludge.
Yep.
And we have photos of Slug here as well. So,
AKA Slag.
AKA whatever you want to call him.
AKA it's your toy. Call it whatever you want.
It is your toy. Call it whatever you want. However, if you use his original G1 name in a Facebook post, you will go on particular lists and you'll
get banned. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So it's no wonder they renamed him. So of course, the gimmick, and Rob has alluded to it in the chat room. He said he was not interested in the core class Dinobots until they announced the combiner gimmick. So we're getting a core combiner team of 6 Dinobots that will form. It has been confirmed that it will be Volcanicus. If you thought the Volcanic's name was a stretch in Power of the Primes. It's coming back. Probably the trademark needs to be renewed. Yeah, we'll see
Yes,
what
it
happens.
does.
Actually, you know what? It probably doesn't because they released the Gen Selects version of it a year or so ago.
So
Yeah.
the thing that surprises me the most, I don't think it's pictured here, but I believe they did show it off at the panel. So Slug and Sludge create the torso, and Grimlock's not the torso for this one. So that means Grimlock will be either an arm or a leg at the end of the day. So that's
You're
really
quite right,
interesting.
yes.
And because the rhinoceros, not the rhinoceros, the Triceratops head becomes the kind of chest emblem of Volcanicus. So, and I think the actual tail is the head, because I think I vaguely
The tail is the head, and the head is the chest, and like
And the head is the
bone's
chest.
connected to the
yeah, very good. I didn't know there was rumors of a combining core class Dinobot set, and I didn't know there was 6 members. So all of this was news to me today, and
How
I'm
did
really
you take
happy. Look, I'm still recovering. The fact that they're doing this, it has really shaken up my world. The fact that Grimlock is not the chest and centerpiece is just, I just don't know what Hasbro are doing. I just think they've lost their minds. But
It's
in all
Takara.
seriousness-
They're pulling the strings.
oh yeah, the Takara. Oh, bloody Takara.
If they've lost their minds, is it because Grimlock's got a new one?
Or Grimlock's just bitten their heads off and taken their minds. So there you go. But yeah, it's a really cool thing they're doing, and I'll probably pick it up just for the novelty of it. I don't see a reason for having it in my collection. Like, there's no need for me to have a combining set of 6 core class Dinobots, but at the same time, why not?
Yeah.
You know, that's my thought.
So, like I said, I'm not big on the core class myself. So, like, it doesn't really appeal to me having these tiny figures at this tiny scale. And like I've got shelves full of larger figures behind me, so I'm not that into them. Like just looking at Slug here, you can see he's basically hollow. Like, you can see straight through him. This is actually kind of a terrible angle. And
People are also complaining about Sludge's robot mode legs.
Yeah, but I think I've got to say, if he wasn't a combiner, he wouldn't look like that. But because he is turning into 3 different modes, I can definitely forgive that, because I think that's probably going to be like the thighs of the robot, the combiner. So
it does kind of look a little bit funny. It looks like he's a little dude on stilts.
Pretty much, because there's because if you look at like what his hamstring would be, I guess that's separate, and then the lower leg and like the inner part of the leg is a separate piece as well. So he's got like a big gap in his leg. That's what people were saying. It's not proper or something.
How very unproper.
How uncouth.
Look. I mean, if you don't like the core Dinobots, you don't have to buy them. So it's as simple as that.
I did just think of a reason though why I might buy them. As Morgan was saying, it's a setup for Dino King.
Well, so that is an interesting question. It is a 6-member Dinobot team. There is now speculation that it will lead to a re-release, possibly in the form of a gift set, perhaps of them redecorated into Dino King. That's quite right.
Yeah, why not?
That doesn't necessarily mean you have to buy them, but you know, like,
you don't have to buy these ones.
I don't have a toy of Dino King.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, if they release Dino King, you can buy it. But this is not Dino King. This is Volcanicus.
Well, yeah, no, but buying this mold.
But if we're just going to touch on anything else, the having owned pretty much all of the previous core class figures at some point, from this and the previous lines, judging by them, these should be good figures, because all of them, especially that little sound wave they did, is one of the best cool figures they've done to this day. And I believe we have a guy that's very similar to Soundwave that they're releasing.
We do.
In that way.
There's he's not in there.
He's just a little bit down.
No, you passed him.
Down.
He's up.
Up.
Up,
Down,
up, a little bit more, just a wee bit more, just
there
he is. There he
is. I'm sorry. I should have figured out what order everyone was in. I mean, it would be nice if they'd actually posted them in stream order, but I'm pretty sure I know the order in which they post them is the thing that the the Dropbox they got from Hasbro's media people. So we are looking at a very sexy black and purple redeco of Core Class Soundwave. I think Core Soundwave was fairly well received, despite sort of the weird placement of the feet in his robot mode there. Yeah, so we've got a Core Class Sound Blaster. Now, is the tape actually going to be Buzzsaw?
It is, but it doesn't transform.
Yeah, no, it's like a little. I think they just called it a little slug figure before.
It's a
didn't they?
slug, yeah, something like that.
But it's as close as we're getting at the moment to a real Buzzsaw release as a cassette, isn't it?
Yeah, which is really surprising because it's just such a simple repaint of Laserbeak.
I know, but I also felt like that Laserbeak mold really didn't get very much love and appreciation from the community. So it's kind of not a surprise that we haven't seen it come back.
But the thing,
we saw it come back enough as Laserbeak.
Yeah, but the weird thing is, Buzzsaw ended up in the actual show with Sound Blaster. So the Netflix show, Buzzsaw was there. So the fact that they didn't also release a toy to go with it was odd because it was just such a simple, just put yellow paint on it and you're done.
It was. I gotta say, having held Core Soundwave in my hand, looking at this, it feels like a more coherent figure than the core Dinobots do. Like the core, I feel like the core Dinobots, because they have to serve multiple masters. I feel like they've just missed the mark slightly, but. You never know. People might get them in their hands and just decide that they're awesome little dudes. I know a lot of people like the Core Class figures. They like to sort of line them up with the Arc and sort of have them in scale with the Arc and the other Titans. But yeah.
Oh, I think he looks great. He's a great mold. He's the only core figure that I kept Soundwave out of all the cores. I also did get an upgrade kit for it, so the actually made it better, and the tape mode looked
kit for
better.
A Core Class figure.
Yeah, call me crazy, but seeing as he's my favorite character, I will do anything for the guy. So you know.
So what does the upgrade change?
Yeah.
The upgrade gives him transformable feet, so it looks more cohesive as a little tape player, as well as it also
fixes this.
Yeah, it fixes that awkwardness of that, as well as it gives it some gap fillers. It gives a little filler for the back of its head, so it turns it into like the perfect version of a miniature Soundwave. Yeah.
You know, I gotta say, as far as the perfect version of a miniature Soundwave goes, if I look on my desk, I got a little new age.
Okay, that's a lot better.
It's probably the perfect version of a miniature Soundwave for this for now. Anyway, like give it a few months, someone will release a new one, I'm sure. But
of course,
still, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Jones said, "Did the upgrade kit cost twice as much as the original toy?"
No, but it cost exactly the same as the toy. So I ended up doubling its value. So there you go.
Yeah, no, fair enough too. Yes, it's I'm not sure that you doubled its value, but you doubled your spend on it.
To me, it doubled its value. So, and my opinions, do other better.
It's now twice as nice.
Exactly, 3 times the price. 2 times the price.
So, Core Class Soundwave, very welcome. I feel like I want to jump from Core Soundwave to the other Soundwave news that came out last night. Do you want to? Let's go early on all the Soundwave stuff. We'll get Soundwave out of the way. No surprise, Shattered Glass Soundwave is real. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus, and his name is Shattered Glass Soundwave. He is the Netflix version of Soundwave. So the very much in desire and in demand Earth mode. Soundwave that does turn into a cassette player instead of a weird ass spaceship, and he does sort of have a green band around his head.
He does, yeah. He's got a separate. It's better than nothing. Look, I'll take it.
No, it is better than nothing. I will grant that. I also I got to admit when I was looking at the images of this as they were sort of holding him up, I noticed that there's also green hinges on the chest door, and I was like, well, the green must clearly be because of the bandana on the hip, but like I don't see why it would be connected to it at all.
No,
unless it's a molded piece that came in that part because they knew they were going to do a Shattered Glass version of him originally. But I don't know.
The original Shattered Glass Soundwave was a head remold of the Universe Ironhide mold.
Yep.
And when you got it at the convention, so it came in a 5-pack for the actual box set, and I actually have that box set. And it's the only Bocon set I have, and it's a good set. It's got a weird pretender human head thing, but we won't go into that. So with Soundwave, at that you could only get the bandana at the convention, and the bad thing about it was made of this weird material that when you tried to place the bandana on Soundwave's head, it would immediately break, or it would break soon after putting it on.
We call that.
So
Mine didn't break.
It wasn't a rubber band. You still got
still
yours
sitting there.
Yeah. Okay. Please don't touch it because it will probably break now. So
I'm just looking forward to having the only other I think this is the third official Shattered Glass Soundwave toy. There was the Ironhide repaint, the one that came versus Blaster from E-Hobby, I think.
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
And now we got this guy, and I'm just really excited for this guy. And I should also say I hope it does come with a bandana, because when I got the other one, I had to fork out like $20 for that bandana.
Yeah. So it does. So it looks like it does.
Yeah. You can see it in the shot here. I'll see if there's a closer up shot of the head. So you can see like it has the bandana. It has the headband at least, but it doesn't really have flowing pieces off it. Surely leaving the door open for an upgrade kit of some kind that someone will be sure to put on. I gotta say the white and the white and blue deco of this figure just looks astonishingly good. The blue looks slightly shiny.
It does.
Very, 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 very happy with it. And of course he does come with 2 cassettes, just like the Netflix release of this mold. Comes with 2 cassettes, and again we have failed to get Buzzsaw.
Yeah, but weirdly enough, I think they're the Cybertronian versions of it, whereas Soundwave's the Earth mode. So, because definitely that's the Cybertronian Laserbeak, because you can tell by the head.
Yeah.
And the Netflix Soundwave did come with, I think, Earth mode versions of both Ravage and Laserbeak, which is weird. But I'm not really going to complain because I'm just grateful to eventually have this mold back in my collection. I did have Netflix Soundwave at one point, and I did let it go on a lot. But this is one of the best Soundwave toys that has ever been released. So the fact that now people are going to get an even better chance, like you have a much better chance of owning this mold now, is awesome. Right. That they did this. It's kind of annoying that they also didn't release him as part of Legacy, and they re-released the Cybertronian version, which no one wanted. But at least they didn't do it.
I will take issue with the no one wanted it. It's actually hard to find now.
Oh, I saw multiple of it today in JB Hi-Fi.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
So where I import figures from around Singapore, what they've actually done, like let's take a minute to actually congratulate Hasbro on this, because what they've done is they've released Blaster and Soundwave in the same year. They've given Blaster 2 releases this year. He came out in Kingdom. And he came out in Kingdom, came out in Legacy Wave 1 as well. And now we have the Shattered Glass version as well. But we also got a Soundwave in Legacy Wave 2. Now, people love to pair up bots with their nemesis. So getting Blaster and Soundwave released in the same year, it's a master stroke of marketing. Like, people are going to buy one and then they'll buy the other because they want to put them both on the shelf. And people who collect Blaster now may not have been collecting when the original was released in Siege a few years ago. So, fine, give them another chance at that figure. And then what they've also done is that in the same calendar year, they've also managed to release the Shattered Glass versions of them as well. Like, this is actually quite an achievement for them. And if the original release plan goes to schedule, which I don't think it will, I think it's been bumped. We're also going to get a twin cast this year.
Yes,
but I think twin cast is going to end up in Evolution Wave 1, possibly Wave 1. In fact, no, probably not, because we've seen the Voyages for Wave 1, so it's going to get bumped around somewhere. But we are going to get another repaint of Blaster still to come.
I agree with everything you're saying, and I hope that I hope that people buying all of these different versions of blasters, Twin Cast, Shatterglass Blaster, will give Hasbro the idea that we really would like a Masterpiece Blaster if that's possible. We've been wanting one for years. We know you've made cassettes for him already. You've released a 4-pack of cassettes, and 2 of them were strictly Blasters cassettes.
That was
Why haven't we got him?
ago now, wasn't it?
It was like 4. Yeah, it was quite a while
I think
ago,
it was
those
like
cassettes.
2016, 2017.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago. And Steeljaw, right? Steeljaw is not a Soundwave cassette. It is strictly a blaster cassette. They made the mold. Why would they have not had a blaster? I just don't understand. We didn't need a blaster to go with Soundwave. So it's just always annoyed me.
I sort of wonder if
You did get Sound Blaster.
It's true, we did, yes.
We did, and everyone was annoyed because that was the only way to get Rat-Bat. So
It's true.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder if they had originally planned to do a Masterpiece Blaster, but then sort of shelved that plan because they started doing the version 3s of some of those characters. Like there's now a new Optimus Prime, there's new Seekers and things like that. So like it makes me wonder if they're going to do an update to Soundwave and then maybe do
no
Blaster
doubt.
to go with him.
No doubt in my mind they're doing another Soundwave, because Soundwave is great, but he needs like the leg area just needs to be a bit better. Like I can see where that just needs an update.
Look, I just put the Fans Toys Robots Paradise acoustic wave on my Masterpiece shelf, so of course now is the time for them to announce a new Masterpiece sound.
Yep.
Rob Franklin says Twincast could be a Gen Select release. Was actually scheduled to be a regular Legacy release, but like if you recall earlier in the year, I just said it's the year of Blaster. Like we've got Blaster in Kingdom, we got Blaster in Legacy, we got Blaster in Shattered Glass, and then we're going to get Twincast as well. Twincast has not come to pass, but was on all the release lists, and I think Twincast will come out in the first half of next year. Yeah. Everything's just a little bit slow and delayed.
Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to get that guy. So
yeah,
don't worry about that.
Can we take a moment to just appreciate the color scheme and how well everything sits together with this Shattered Glass Blasters alt mode? It's just gorgeous.
I thought of another version of SG Soundwave, which I'm not sure if it was officially Shattered Glass, but remember the music label? We had a we had a music label in this color scheme. I don't know if they intended it to be a Shattered Glass, but there was maybe it was just completely white to be like an iPod.
It was actually an iPod. It was actually intended to be like an iPod reference, like Soundwave is personal audio hardware, and at the time that they did the music label, the idea was to make it white, like all current personal audio hardware at the time.
Yeah,
I think we've gotten past that now. Like we have all sorts of colors and stuff. So maybe they actually borrowed that idea for Shattered Glass. But I'm still happy to go with that and just say that that's an unofficial Shattered Glass Soundwave.
Pre-Shattered Glass 2, probably, maybe.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm not so sure. I think
Shattered Glass was like 2008, and I think the device label was like 2009 or 10.
Right.
I was going to say 2006, but if only one of us had an internet connected device, and we could find out.
All I know is I've still got 2 of those device labels, and one is my Soundwave and one is my Sound Blaster. I just reckon that mold's great.
It looks cool.
So Brendan Anglesey posted in TCCA this week because he just acquired some of 2007 was music label.
Okay. Oh wow.
Brendan Anglesey posted a photo this week of his music label Soundwave and says, look, I think until recently it's the best chug Soundwave that we had, and I totally agree. Like the lines, the form, the transformation of him, they were just fantastic. It was, in fact, I'm pretty sure that even now, music label Soundwave is actually one of my avatars on some service somewhere. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've got music label Soundwave I went through the rigorous task of collecting the Masterpiece cassettes. So they look good, but yeah, you don't really want to have them standing next to each other.
No, they're too big. Yeah. Fair enough.
You don't want to have them standing next to each other? What do you mean?
Well, it's just, like if you put them into cassette mode, it's like this big compared to Soundwave.
Yeah.
Compared to device label.
Do you mean? Oh, wait. Do you mean the
Comparing device level Soundwave's cassette player mode to Masterpiece cassette tape. The tape would not fit in the cassette player.
No, definitely not. Although there are odd little cases of that interplay happening across the years, but not in this case.
Although he did technically have Cassetticons. He had the Rumble and Frenzy earphones. So that was cool.
He did, yes. Yeah. All right. Shattered Glass, bringing it home with the final release of this wave. I think this wave of Shattered Glass has ended up quite spread out. If you remember last year, we ended up with sort of one figure every month or so. I think now we're sort of getting one figure every couple of months. I think Flame War and Slicer, I think, are due in the new year still. So
really,
it's going to be a while until we complete that line, I think.
Oh, this is an instant buy for me, obviously. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. When you say Shattered Glass, like Shattered Glass Soundwave is one of the iconic characters of that part of the franchise. So like, there's a lot of people waiting for this.
100%.
Once they announced Blaster was coming this year, you knew Soundwave was coming as well.
Yep.
They did actually say that they did actually say on the live stream that they wanted to reveal this earlier in the year. There's a little known fact that's sort of come into the light in the last couple of months from Mark Marr's Instagram account, which is that the Netflix, the figures that are produced for the Netflix line, the copyright or the rights to use those figures and those molds rests with Walmart. Because Walmart's financed the production of those figures. Now, we do get those figures over here in Kmart, for example, but yeah, the ownership of those molds goes to Walmart, and so this version of Soundwave, the Earth Mode Soundwave, was exclusive to Walmart, and they weren't allowed to use it. And I think it's been 2 years since the release of that figure, and so it seems like they've just been waiting for some ink on a contract or some time period to expire, probably 2 years from release or something. And they've got those figures back out now under that mold. They didn't just release it as Soundwave though. Like, I think they would have to know that there's a lot of people who really want that Earth Mode Soundwave still. I happened across someone offering one quite cheap this week, and so I dutifully put my hand up for it because I thought that I had one. But then someone reminded me that I had agreed to sell it to them, so mine went. So I've sort of been looking for my own Earth Soundwave for a while. I put my hand up for it this week, and then last night this gets real. So like, I'm very happy that I just managed to get that in before this got released, and people are going to want to pair them up. So I think this is going to lead to a bit of a surge. A surge in prices for the Netflix Soundwave, I think.
Possibly.
Right. So with that underway, with that done, the other figures that were revealed last night are the next year of Legacy, which is called Legacy Evolution. Now this is an interesting. Now I don't think we actually have the logo for it in here, but it's the Legacy logo. In fact, no, we do, because it'll be on the box art for some of these guys. Let's just bring up Needle Nose. Pretend we're not talking about Needle Nose, but you can see on his box art there. You can see the Legacy Evolution brand. In fact, there's a better version that I can bring up there. So it's the Legacy logo that we all know and love by our familiarity with it over the last 7 months. It's not been around for the entire year, but yeah, it's the Legacy logo that we know and love, with the word evolution added onto it. So it's sort of
must have taken minutes to conceptualize that.
Yes, it probably did.
Yeah, 100%.
So interestingly, evolution was always the tagline for Legacy though. If you look in product listings, it's always been Tra-Gen, which is Transformers Generations, Leg for Legacy, and Evo, which was meant to be the title for Legacy's Year 1, which did beg the question of what the title for Year 2 was going to be and whether they would use it. Turns out they're just going to call it Evolution. So whether this is this is sort of a continuation of what we would have gotten in year one, or if it's actually just going for something new. And in fact, you know what? Now that we've got the box art up here, I actually just realised that the tech specs are on the top. That's weird.
And they're sort of cut off as well.
I think
they've been cut off like that for Legacy. Like it's a very abbreviated form of it with the and you hit the QR code and you get more.
Yeah,
detail
QR code. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's unusual. I'm surprised to see the tech specs go up there. They've just sort of shoved it wherever they think it'll fit in the box. Yeah. Mark Jones says that they would have commissioned the graphic art for sequel logos at the at the same time. Very likely. At the same time as they did the original logo. Person who hasn't signed into StreamYard says Mark said they moved the QR code for year 2. They definitely did, and we have the visual proof here now. Since we are looking at packaging, before we get to the figures, I gotta say, I think that keeping the open box is a mistake.
Yes.
This is
it just
awkward.
looks ridiculous.
He looks like he's frozen in carbonite.
He does. He does. We've seen a spate of vandalism. Essentially, is what it comes down to over the course of Legacy Year 1, where a lot of people have reached into open boxes and stolen heads of characters or pushed pieces in and stuff like that. And so, over in Marvel Legends land and over in G.I. Joe Classifieds land and in fact in Star Wars Black Series land as well, they've gone closed box on their figures. But we've also heard at the same time that the Transformers team really believes that open box is important for people to actually see the figures that they're going to be buying. And so you can't have it both ways, except you can, but this is the result. So you've got an open box and there's a giant open window, but then they've blocked the open window with another piece of cardboard through which they've cut the tiniest of holes for the figure to peer through.
I guess this way, I think they mainly want us to have a look at the head sculpts and judge the head sculpts before we buy, because I think that's what a lot of people do. Is even when they were back on window or blister packs or whatever, people would look at the head sculpt and see if they'll check which one has the best head sculpt out of the bunch, and see if there's any paint mishaps or anything like that. So I think that's why they're at least leaving their head visible. Maybe the chest as well, because there might be paint on the chest. But it does look awkward because it's just like if you don't know Transformers and you're going to buy this for someone, you're just like, oh, I'm buying a head and torso. Okay.
Oh,
cool.
This must be part of a combiner.
That reminds me of they did a sketch on Mystery Science Theater 3000 where they sold an action figure in parts. So instead of getting a G.I. Joe for $8, you get one for $350 after you bought all the accessories for it. You start off with the torso and then you get the head, arms, eyes, eyebrows, everything.
It's like those subscription services, like those magazines you get for building a robot.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring this up because I noticed this moment in the stream when they were showing off the packaging for the core class Dinobots. It really looks like there's no head.
Yeah.
It really looks like there's no head in there.
Yeah.
Their head's already been removed.
They're showing how easy it is and how not to do it. They don't want you to do it.
So I mean, if you notice, what they've done right is they seem to have just sort of shoved the figure up slightly in the packaging, so that you're going to have to destroy the packaging to take the head off this one.
I'm just imagining that as the new company logo. Hasbro, please don't steal our stuff.
Hasbro, please don't steal our toys. Please. Even though we show you how to, please don't do it.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's a mistake to stick with open boxes for this year, but I also wonder if some of this stuff might have been set in stone and budget may have been set for a few years to keep the open box design, and they can't change it now. But like I said, I think it's a mistake.
I'm just wondering if, because have you guys also bought legacy boxes like this before?
Yes.
Right. You know how, like, the ones we've gotten so far, it's been, like, say we look at Blaster here.
Hang on a sec. I'll just
You know how it's been, like, in a box, you see this, and it's just, got strings around it. Whereas if we look at the way that Needlenose's box is designed, do you think it's just the same thing, but they've added in another piece of cardboard?
So I kind of do, but also I think... So if you look at I'll put us back into screen share here. I'm gonna do something very technical, which is to open this image in a new tab so that I can zoom in on it, and thus like destroy everything.
Destroy the universe.
Yeah. The internet will implode. So if you see what we've got here is this piece of cardboard is actually it's pushing out the front of the box. And it's forming its own space inside the box, because Needlenose does actually protrude slightly from it, so it's not the front of the box. But I think yes, this is a new piece of cardboard in the box, so that's tied onto something. So the tie around Needlenose's torso there, that's anchored onto something that's in the back of the box. It could be one piece of cardboard folded upon itself in like a giant U shape.
Yeah,
but I do think it's more likely to just be a new piece of cardboard. Like there's probably just a brown piece of cardboard behind that he's anchored onto, and they've just I think maybe they've just changed some of the where the print goes in order to add this sort of security mechanism onto the packaging.
And they probably also have the accessories behind this piece of cardboard, so no one can sort of reach in through the front and pinchy.
Yeah, well, so that we've seen that happening with Velocitron already. Like people have just been reaching in, and they know that the accessories are under the tray, so they've just been destroying them in the store.
Or maybe it's a new play pattern. Maybe it's a new like display based like studio series. So we can take it out and you can display your figure on it, and it's like you can just have a like
hole in it.
Like they've smashed through it, like they've smashed through a wall. Maybe it's a new play pattern.
Here's Needlenose.
Here's Needlenose. Yeah. So maybe that's their new play feature. I don't know. We don't know what goes through Hasbro minds. I don't know.
I mean, we're supposed to have a good idea at this point.
I have nothing.
I'm gonna zoom that back out. Sorry, everything's jumping around a bit while I do it. So look, while we're here, let's talk about the lineup for Legacy Evolution Wave 1. We have deluxes. We have Needlenose. We alluded earlier to
yes, please.
Voyager Tarn. We only saw deluxes and Voyagers this morning, and they did say that there's no leaders for Wave 1. They said COVID-19 is still a thing. They straight up blame the pandemic for there not being any leaders. Whether that's sort of being unable to ensure manufacturing or anything in time. We have heard the names of a number of leader class figures for 2023, and we have seen a bit of artwork that sort of teases the characters that are to come for this line. And
we need to talk about something. Oh, we do.
Yes, we do. We will talk about that in a bit. But so as far as Legacy Evolution Wave 1, we've got 4 deluxes and 2 Voyagers to talk about. So let's get going with Needlenose. Mark Marr said on the stream last night that Needlenose did lose the fan vote a few years ago, but he never forgot about him. And so he was very happy to sort of have the opportunity. He was very, very happy to have the opportunity to go back and do him again. And of course, he's had the opportunity to go back and do them again with slightly more modern engineering tools. So, like, the Needlenose we get now is better than the Needlenose we would have gotten in Power of the Primes. So,
I also like how the Target Master, at least the black one, actually looks like a Target Master from the 80s, because they had that sort of simple double barrel flip out gimmick from the back.
So the Target Masters, I'm pretty sure the Target Masters are new molds. We're looking at them at the moment. They're pretty simple. Like they can't be complicated. They are essentially accessories. So I'm not even sure. Do these guys even move, or does he just?
Doesn't look like it, but
No, they're very much going back to the original design of the double target masters, and basically all the articulation is that bit flipping over for the gun.
Yeah.
Who cares? You know, they're just little dudes that turn into guns. It's fine.
It's cool.
It's what
cool
they
that
did.
They're there. Yeah.
I just really like
original.
the detail of the purple one's holding a gun. I mean, obviously he can't move, but it's just really nice to see a gun molded in.
The purple.
Oh,
one
that is cool.
Is a gun, and he's holding a gun.
Holding a gun,
Yeah.
and they look like they have little. And the other one looks like he's got a sword or something. Maybe that's cool.
Does he?
Like a little arm sword hanging down the side of him. Something going on there.
I see what you mean over on his left arm.
Look, we can't expect too much from these guys. They're just accessories. I think they're good enough for what they are. So I'm not
Exactly.
I'm not
Yeah.
And, you know, if these are actually product photos and not CG renders, and they do look like product photos, these guys are quite carefully painted. Like, look at the paint application on the head and on the arms and stuff as well. So, like, you know, good on them.
No, they look really good. I think. Yeah, I like them.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you their names.
When I first saw the picture, I think is it Tip Top and Heater, or is that Quake?
Sure, why not?
Let's just go with yes, and then get corrected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat room will yell at us.
When I first saw this toy, you know, obviously this morning, I thought it was, I keep forgetting his name now. He's the one who corrupted the Matrix.
Scourge?
No, not Scourge. In the comics.
I don't know.
Was it Thunderwing?
Yeah.
Yeah, Thunderwing. I think that's Thunderwing. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was him. I was like, oh, we're getting a toy of him, because I think last time we got a toy of him, he was like a really small deluxe that didn't really sort of inspire fear. A character like that should.
So Rob Franklin has said Zigzag and Sunbeam. Now,
yeah,
I love their names.
I'm not sure if he's actually just naming the target masters, or if he's just naming beloved Australian brands.
That's fair.
That's all they were. They had very, very simple names.
I heard Sunbeam makes excellent toasters. But yeah,
maybe.
Well,
Zigzag very entertaining at children's birthdays, especially when he turns into a gun. But yeah.
Oh God, I think Brad's gonna have to remove that from the edit.
That's great. I love that one. Good on you.
You'll never see good old Zig and Zag in quite the same light ever again. This is a service that we provide. So look, I think we've Sanyo, Breville, and Tiak are coming soon.
They're the triple target masters.
Yes, the triple target masters. I think we've spent a really long time on Needlenose. Do we have much to say about Needlenose, or are we just
looks like
mocking his target master?
No, he looks like Needlenose. He looks good.
It's the toy of an official target master. I am all over it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Would you want it to be a Voyager, or are you okay with it being a deluxe?
I'm okay with it being a deluxe, because the other toys were deluxes. Ones in the 80s are all relatively the same scale, and the ones we've gotten so far in the 21st century have been mostly the same scale, from what I can recall. And yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I feel like, so if we look at the jet mode, it does look like he's just doing a yoga pose under a jet. I don't think we've seen the actual underside of the actual plane, but it looks like his legs are just wrapped around. See what I mean? It doesn't look that convincing.
But also, like, we say this every time a new jet comes up. We're like, well, it looks a bit shit underneath.
Yeah, which, to be fair, yeah, look, we're not going to look at them underneath a lot. But I just feel like it probably could have benefited from being a Voyager, possibly. But in saying that, he looks really good in robot mode, and it's undeniably, it's him, you know. It looks like the dude. It comes with the double target masters, so you can't really complain that much. So, yeah.
Look, I'm probably going to get him, actually, because he's a scavenger.
He is. He's a scavenger.
Yeah, yes, he's the strongest scavenger.
Scavenger.
So yeah, he's a scavenger, and so I'm doing a reread of More Than Meets the Eye at the moment, and like I kind of would like to assemble those scavengers, which means going back and collecting a couple of figures who've come before. Crankcase is coming out in Legacy
He
Wave
is.
3 out this month. Flywheels has been out for a while as the Duocon from was he at the end of Titan's Return?
No,
It's
he
gonna
was
be. So you guys
He's in
start
Siege.
saying Scavengers Assemble.
Yes.
Scavengers Assemble. Yeah,
Scavengers Assemble.
Assemble.
Flywheels was Skytread in Siege. That's right.
he was. Yeah.
Misfire, and Spinister. Misfire, I think his last toy was in Titan's Return.
Yep.
And Spinister was also in Siege. So Croc was also in Titan's Return and did shell form here quite significantly. But like these guys are guys are generally not that difficult to get. So I kind of would like to get myself a scavenger squad now.
Why not? They're a cool team.
Yes, exactly. Right, so we've talked a bit about Needle Nose. Let's move on to another deluxe class figure, Hot Shot. Very much a fan favorite character, Hot Shot.
Oh my god. He's good.
Oh right, okay, no, that's fine. I thought you were gonna take umbrage at the definition of him as fan favorite. Like
he is.
You should have seen the live chat go nuts when this guy came up on the stream last night.
He deserves what he gets because he's This looks like the definitive hotshot.
So it should.
Man.
It's been a good 10 years since we got a hotshot figure.
Yeah, because the last one was Universe.
Rob says it's hotshot part deux.
Yeah. Yeah. Look. He looks exactly like his animation counterpart. Comes with the gun. I was a bit scared that he couldn't do the actual Power Links gimmick, but he can. The rear axle can come over his head as the bazooka that he had in the show. The only thing we don't have is Jolt, his minicon. But like I'm sure we'll get them in like core class, or even if we don't, the fact that he still has the gimmick and the actual Armada gimmick and actually looks this good. Is a testament to how far we've come with this mold, because like he's just such a cool looking design, and look, the legs look a bit janky, especially like that, but I can forgive it because like he just looks, just the rest of him, and that vehicle mode, all of it. And the fact that he's got the visor that comes down when he gets
the visor flips down. The visor is not just a piece of clear plastic either. That's actually got paint applied to it as well. That looks. That's right. I'm pretty sure that when they demoed the visor in the stream last night, it did not have paint on it. So it's quite cool to see.
Well,
these products
the actual visor from like the toy and the show is kind of actually all grey. So they've kind of given us a bit of a clear one this time, which is pretty cool. I wouldn't mind if it's all grey or clear. I don't really care. But the fact that he's got the gimmick, because the last time we had the Universe Hotshot was not a bad toy, and it did come with Jolt. But it didn't have a combined gimmick, so it didn't have the Power Links gimmick. But this time we in fact do have the gimmick, but no Jolt. So the thing is, the minicons are pretty good by themselves. You can just track down a Jolt. He wouldn't be too hard to find, hopefully by himself, or even a version of the same mold, and just put him near him.
Where did he attach on the original toy? Because on the back of this car mode, it looks like there might be room for.
Yeah. So for Hotshot, Jolt could like kind of cut in, like break in half, and then combine with him in this mode, and then like his little feet would come out with like blades on it. But he could also fly, because like the little propeller blades would actually lift him up off the ground, which is really fun and unique. So that there is like something back there that could possibly mean that we're getting a Jolt or minicons in the future.
There's something back there. Are you talking about the 5mm ports on the sides of the spoilers?
No, that's not.
Well, there's a 5mm port on the middle as well.
Yeah, if you look at
that looks more like a minicon thing.
Yeah, if you look in the middle of the spoiler, there's something jutting out from that. So
I see it there.
Maybe that's the confusing thing is, when we saw Armada Starscream from Legacy, he didn't have a minicon port on him at all. So that was really interesting. So maybe
If I can posit something else, let's talk about a very specific deluxe class next, which might actually provide a clue as to what that poll is for.
Okay.
All right. So we'll take Hotshot as red, and let's move on. Let's move on to Scrapface. Now, Scrapface is the Junkion of the wave. There's going to be several Junkions throughout Legacy Evolution.
Can I just say who I saw this? Remember when I
yeah,
said
remember at the start, yeah.
Energon
yeah.
Rodimus.
Yes, no, I can definitely see that.
Yep, I see. Yeah, no, totally.
100%.
Yeah.
Basically the Junkions are the new fossilizers. So these guys' limbs pull apart, and
No, really.
yeah, these guys' limbs pull apart, and you can reattach things onto them. Now, also, so Scrapface has a really cool alt mode. It must be said, like that is an excellent looking alt mode. It looks like something out of Mad Max.
Yeah.
Pieces, so pieces pull off these characters, and you can attach them to other characters.
That is so
Now,
bloody cool.
just look at the angle at which this metal plate is around a 5mm port here. Like that is some stunning attention to detail. Like things are off. There's things that are off angle and not symmetrical on this. It looks fantastic. So what I'm wondering is if we go back to that picture of Hotshot's vehicle mode. So does the what is essentially a 5mm post sticking up there? Does that imply that we could actually attach Junkion parts to Hotshot there? Possibly, and I'm also gonna give you something else that they told us in the stream as well. The Dinobots, their combiner ports are all 5mm pegs, so you can actually use the Dinobots as additional pieces for other deluxe class figures.
What the hell
I'm just picturing like a Dinobot being incorporated to this. It would look like the old Pizza Hut cars, with the massive phone on them, except this one will be a dinosaur.
Oh my god! I can just imagine like Hotshot going up and punching someone with Grimlock. Like,
Yeah.
that is such an absurd thing to think of.
I do want to bring up something else. Rob says Scrapface looks like Mater drove down Fury Road.
Yeah, no, it does.
That's really... It does. Although I will go with the version that I saw in a chat earlier today. It's pissed off Mater.
Total Mater.
Look, I think this looks fantastic. Like, I was not particularly interested in the Junkions when we saw them come up rumored. Look at the size of him inside the box window there as well. That head's going to get stolen. That's a spoiler. So yeah.
Oh wait, they showed the picture. They showed the pieces of him on the box.
Yes, on the back of the box.
Oh yes! Yeah. Wow, I didn't see this.
It
shows Hotshot with him. Hotshot.
Yeah. So yeah, you can definitely augment Hotshot with him.
Evo Fusion.
That's the new...
Evo Fusion.
On one side of the box, it's Evolution. On the back side, it's Evo Fusion. But yes. So yeah, the Junkions can become armor and parts for other figures with those 5mm ports. So I reckon that's what that port is on the back of him.
That is so cool. So it's weird.
Hang on a second. Let me bring you up there.
There we go.
So
that's nice.
Yeah. I put him like this a few weeks ago, and I'm just too scared to move him because it's a very delicate balancing act there at the moment.
Yeah, it's fair enough too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Rob also says, I like how he can transform without parts forming. It's quite right. A couple of notable things happened on last night's stream. Number one, and I don't know if this has actually happened before. Someone from Hasbro said parts forming on a live stream where they can't take it back and erase it. So parts forming is an official term that's used by Hasbro people now. Yeah. And they did say that you can transform Scrap Hook. Not Scrap Face. Scrap Face was the reflector.
Yeah, I was about to ask what his name was. Yeah.
So Scrap Hook can be transformed without removing parts from him. So he doesn't require parts forming to actually transform you. So
That's
Hasbro's aware of that attitude in the community towards parts forming.
Can I say, I love new characters. So especially when they look like this, when they're so clever. Like I was a huge fan of the fossilizers because we just got new characters. I was a huge fan. Well, I mean, the weaponizers were mainly old characters brought into a new light and to a new mode. But these are brand new Junkions, and like who's to say, like, and I'm glad they're not all motorbikes. I'm really cool with them being different.
I'm really happy seeing
vehicles.
different vehicle forms,
different
for the
junky
Junkions.
vehicles.
It's
cool.
Just to zoom this up a bit.
That looks cool with Hotshot doing that.
Wonder if that means we're going to be getting a Junkion that turns into a dump truck, like animated Retgar.
Oh, that'd be missed opportunity if we missed that.
Maybe,
you know?
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Can I say? Can we get Nancy, please? Because like Nancy is a Junkion, the female Junkion from the movie that we've never had a toy of, and I feel like this line would be perfect to introduce a Nancy figure.
What are they going to call her? Junkion Nancy.
Yeah, I don't care. Call her whatever you want. Just release her. Give us a Nancy.
When you say Nancy, like
Nancy boy.
No, my mind just goes to Nancy Reagan.
Oh.
Yes, just make a Nancy Reagan figure that turns into like, I don't know, a helicopter, and then Junkion Nancy Reagan. Why not? But there is so Nancy's the unofficial or official, I don't know, name of the female Junkion that we see on Junkion in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But Nancy, like Rob said.
Nancy, like RC, but Nancy.
Yeah.
Now, Mark also says detritus is on the way from the Hound mold. Now, we know from leaked listings that there is a detritus, or detritus, whatever. People say detritus, so I'll stick with it. There is a detritus character coming, but we don't know what it is. It's so coming from the Hound mold is slightly problematic, right? Because the Hound mold is a siege mold. It's Cybertronian, and I was talking about this with someone today. I actually don't think the Cybertronian Jeep looks a million miles away from an Earth Jeep anyway, because we bolt on different things and racks and pieces onto our Jeeps on our planet now anyway. But it is very different to how a Jeep appeared in the 70s and the 80s, which is what Earth mode Hound is very heavily based on. And so I kind of wonder whether we actually really need an Earth mode Hound or not, or whether he would just be a repaint of that Siege Hound mold without retooling anything, or because detritus is actually a Junkion, if he's actually just going to be a Junkion and he won't necessarily be related to the Siege Hound mold at all, detritus might just be another pickup truck or something in the Junkion line.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a potential there to just like have a whole subline of Junkions, isn't there?
There is. So we've got at least three Junkions coming in the deluxes in Legacy Evolution, and a Voyager as well at some point.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
There's definitely going to be. You want some more Junkions? Let's revisit that opinion by the end of next year and see how you feel about Junkions by then. But I got to say, if they come out at the quality that Scraphook looks like, that's going to be pretty fun.
Actually, you know what? If you do get like a whole line of them, you can just put them into their parts and create your own planet of junk diorama.
Yes.
Well, the cool thing about like these things being vehicles, right? Like you can just mix and match and make your own weird vehicles as well. You're not just making weird armored up versions.
Connectables from the 80s.
You can make like just looking at this setup here of Scraphook. You could put like the front of that on like a bike or something, and then like put some jet wings on it if there's like a jet one. So like this could be a really cool gimmick. This could be like really, really interesting.
I mean, we've already seen people doing amazing things with the fossilizers. And the weaponizers over the last few years anyway. So like I think if anything, this is almost like that gimmick's final form, right? Like they're giving us way more parts to do with as we please. They can be assembled back into a functioning transformer, or they can go onto their own on their own. So yeah,
I like Rob's comment. It'll be the Junkion version of Wacky Races. That's good.
Yeah, I think I've only collected like some of the weaponizers because they were already established characters, like Cog and all those. And I haven't collected any of the fossilizers because none of that really tickled my fancy.
I'm not very up on the fossilizers as well, but I also wonder whether or not we might actually see Junkions with fossilizer parts attached to them, which could be quite cool as well.
But I also am looking forward to this because yes, it is a weaponizer, fossilizer, that gimmick. But at the same time, if you don't like the gimmick, you don't have to use it as a parts warmer because, like you said, it's fully capable of transforming by itself.
Yeah.
So
This is
kind of a little engineering marvel, right?
Yeah.
I think it's great. I just assumed it parts form to transform. Now knowing that they've actually engineered these things to come apart, but also transform as a whole, that's brilliant. And it's not only the gimmick, but just look at the toy. That is a cool looking toy. Like you can't tell me, like, even if you collect this or that or the other, this thing just looks like an epic little deluxe class figure.
Yeah, it really does.
It just appeals. It wins at everything it does. Really.
I'm just wondering, like, when it's in hand, like what it's like to actually transform. Like, if you are transforming, it's like, oh no, well that's a part. I don't want that. So I wonder if it actually stay together when you're transforming it.
Oh, it will. Yeah. I don't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean the weaponizers. You had to really work to pull the weaponizers apart.
They don't just fall apart. Yeah, so I'd say safe bet is this will be a good. Even if you want to ignore the gimmick entirely, I think this will just be like a really good toy on its own. That is still a transformer in its core.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. All right. So we've talked about three of the deluxes. Which way is going to take me to the fourth one? That's
ignore.
That's all right.
Was there a fourth?
There is. It's the last Stunticon, and controversial in and of himself. We are looking at what are we looking at? Breakdown or Dead End?
Breakdown.
It's Breakdown. There we go. It even says.
I know them off by heart. Plus, it's got the breakdown on there.
It says it in the thing. Actually, very interesting. This is a bit of a different look at Breakdown than we saw on the stream last night. Last night on the last night's stream they had him holding the spoiler, which we see here in his left hand and a gun in his right hand. They had him holding the spoiler as if it was a gun, and I do recall some of the comments that were being made at the time is like the spoiler is a pretty poor excuse for a gun, but this does actually show that he does in fact have a gun. So. That definitely did not come across in the live stream last night. Breakdown has been the source of some consternation in the fan base this week. So Takara has a Takara Expo on at the moment, and so we got a sneak peek of Breakdown about 5 days before the internet was really ready for this reveal, because Takara had Breakdown sitting attached to Menasor at their expo, and so allowed people to get a look at the figure and just go, well, hang on a minute, he doesn't actually look like much like the car that he is supposed to be. He is a Wild Rider retool. They've changed some detail around the chest, around the head. And you can't see it on this mode, but also around the back of the car. However, like as Rob says, he's been the source of the fan base overreacting to nothing. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of overreacting this week. People are talking about saying that there should be a class action lawsuit because a Stunticon doesn't look like the car that they think.
Just bloody hell!
Tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jesus Christ!
It is interesting, but I do see the point, right? To play devil's advocate, they've gone.
Can we look at the car mode?
Yes, you can. They've redone the Stunticons, and they've made extremely accurate, but not copyright infringing,
Yes.
versions of all of the cars, and they've been very faithful to their original source material for 4 out of 5 Stunticons, and then they get to the last one, and it's like yeah.
Insane.
Maybe that's why they released him last, because they couldn't get. I don't know, but at the same time, this, like, every time I think of Breakdown, I think of that scene in the Key to Vector Sigma where Megatron has him in pieces and he's inserting the magical Transformer parts. And it's just like, this looks like that car. And also what people were saying, what people were saying about the weapons is, I've got 3 of the Stunticons so far, well, Motor Master plus the other 2, and they each come with 2 guns each. So I'm hoping Breakdown's just going to keep that tradition alive, because I think Dead End comes with 2 pistols as well, doesn't he?
I'm not sure. We'll find out next week. But I think because the spoiler detaches, I think that might count for one of the weapons.
Can I say on that, right? And by the way, Mark's been going off at us. It's called a wing. So now we all know it's called a wing.
We still don't care, though.
No, neither. But the fact that they didn't, like, I know this is basically just a remold of, sorry, what's his name?
Dead End.
Yeah.
Which one?
No, Dead End, isn't it? Oh, is it? Okay.
No, Dead End's the other arm. So he's basically they're the same toy in a way, but they're remolds of each other. But the fact is they couldn't remold, they couldn't engineer the spoiler splitting in half and transforming. So they just made it a weapon, and it doesn't even look like a weapon, to me at least. That's the only thing I'd like. I don't mind. I don't mind the vehicle mode. The vehicle mode looks cool in my opinion. It doesn't look like the car that it's supposed to be, but it's just a bit lazy with the wing.
It's just, I was just thinking, it's like he was driving in car mode. He transforms. It's like, oh, look what I just pulled out of my ass.
Yeah, that's what are you gonna do with a wing? Like
Fly.
There you go.
You need more than one to fly.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that's the only thing that I don't like about it. I feel like that's the only lazy bit of it.
Well, that's my version of Wild Rider. He's waiting for the others to show up. So I am seeing similarities there.
There's a lot of similarities there. But yeah.
Yeah, I just thought Dead End and Breakdown were the same mold. I didn't realize that Wild Rider and Breakdown were the same mold. But is Dead End the same mold as well?
No, Dead
End's the similar to Drag Strip. They have the same kind of.
The break in half.
Yeah, they've got the same engineering, but they're a bit different.
Okay.
I like the vehicle mode. The vehicle mode's cool. It's just the fact that you have to. And I know I don't really usually care about parts forming, but it's just a weird thing that they've taken a part of the car off and it doesn't look like anything, and they're saying it's a weapon.
Yeah,
it is kind of funny in the same presentation where they were very proudly telling us that the Junkion can transform without parts forming. Oh well, this guy, yeah, you just have to remove the wing and then he can transform. So
yeah.
I was just, didn't they like there's been toy Transformers before with spoilers where the spoiler's been incorporated into the robot mode, like feet.
Yeah,
like it hasn't been. Yeah, so it's just
so. If this guy did transform, well, it does transform. The spoiler would be behind his legs and out of view.
Yeah.
Maybe it would hamper articulation. Maybe that's why they did it. That's a possibility.
Also gives the Stunticons a melee option.
Yeah. Oh, So what? Okay, I didn't know this could happen. So you can put the gun. You can hold the shaft of the gun and then put the wing on as a knife. Which is creative.
Or an
I'll
oar.
give them that. Or an oar.
This is
a paddle. A paddle for
lesson.
paddling. That's not a paddling. This
is the lesser known Crocodile Dundee mode.
That's the paddling. Yeah, that's not a paddle. This is a paddle. Like, come on.
This is a wing.
Yeah,
it's a wing. We all know it's a wing now. Guys, do you know that's a wing? It's a wing.
That's a wing. That's not a spoiler. That's a wing.
As Mark says, no, it's a machete.
And now it's a machete.
Yeah.
That's not a wing. That's a machete.
I just like I'm not going to be having this guy in his robot mode. As soon as I get him, I'm Well, I mean, it'll probably be arriving in robot mode. So as soon as I get in car mode, down onto Minosaur.
Yeah.
But it's just that back kibble looks a bit weird.
It is ugly. I won't disagree.
It looks like it's like really, really far back and down. It doesn't look like it's like snug.
You can
break down
so
back.
the same as again, it's the same mold, so you can just collapse it in on itself and just have it on the back.
Okay.
They just splayed it out a bit for I don't know, reasons, I guess.
Yeah,
For reasons.
For reasons.
Reasons.
They wanted it to look different, so they
it takes up more real estate in the picture,
yeah.
so it's more engaging.
It's bigger that way. So
Yeah.
I want to bring up. I want to bring up this photo as well. So
oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So he has leaked out of the factory, and so this website, Stories from the Toy Shelf, has gotten a hold of him, put them all together. My God, they look great together. Like
They're gorgeous.
Controversy of alt mode or accuracy or whatever aside, like that, I just love them. They look fantastic together. They're the best Stunticons that we've had.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they're definitely of all the Stunticons that we've had. These are definitely the most recent, which should make them the best by sort of the virtue of the engineering that's involved. But yeah, just
I think
just wow.
is this also the first drag strip since the 80s that's had the double wheels?
The six wheels on drag strip is unusual. I don't think I do think that most drag strips don't have it. So yes, it's possible it is the first one.
It's the most modern one that's had it.
I did some research about that car mode. That thing is hilarious. It was actually a Grand Prix car, and then it was banned because it was
too violent.
fast.
All the competitors around it kept dying because of a big black purple truck that was intimidating them.
No, I think it was like too fast or maybe too dangerous because it had too many tires. But they had to actually outlaw it. They had to ban it from Grand Prix, which I just think is funny.
So basically, the key to having a faster car is more wheels.
Yes.
There you go. I didn't know that.
Oh, hang on, Mark's saying wrong.
No, I'm like, if there's one comment that's going to attract a correction from Mark, it's saying something about something.
Not
about
even close
motorsport.
to the reason.
Yeah, saying something
Well, then
about
enlighten
motorsport.
us, Mark.
Come on, Mark.
It's okay. There's many reasons. There's many ways to make faster cars. We don't need to have this discussion right now. Anyway, let's get back into it. We've done all the deluxes. The final Stunticon is coming out early next year, and so we have two Voyagers to look at for next year. First one we're going to go through is Leo Prime.
Oh my God! Wow. Doesn't it look better than the MP?
I mean, it does look like the MP.
Looks better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not unpacked that MP. I think I sold it on after I decided that I do not need every masterpiece figure on the planet.
Good for you.
So you are someone who used to own MP Leo Prime. Is that right, Mikey?
No, but I've kept it. I think I've seen one in person and dealt with one in person. He's just a bit of a fiddly mess. But this, I mean, the whole concept of Leo Convoy. What are they calling him now? Leo Prime.
Leo Prime.
Okay, Leo Prime.
It's a little bit easier for Americans to say. I think you'll find.
Yes, because then they'll be like, why are we calling this Lion Convoy? So the thing. Oh, why are you calling it Prime? Even I don't know. But it does. I just think it works better than the MP. Because it just the MP, from what I've seen and dealt with, is just really fiddly. Whereas this looks like it's just gotten it all of it right. It looks like it's got all the gimmicks of the original, or at least most of them. And I didn't know there was actually a need or a want for this character, especially in this line. But just seeing as its legacy, nothing's impossible. So I think it's really cool, and I think it's probably the best version of this character that we've ever gotten, just by the looks of it. I mean, the QC issues and stuff that could come out of it could totally make that false. Yeah. But this, for a modern update of Lio Convoy, he looks really, really good. And he looks like a fun toy, whereas the Masterpiece is notoriously not a fun toy. So the fact that you can get this for, let's say, $50, as opposed to the bigger official one, for a lot more, and the lion just looks good. The lion looks really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rob says it's taken many engineering cues from the Kingdom Beast Wars figures, and yeah, I think they learned a lot doing the beasts over the last couple of years.
I'm still in shock that there's a Masterpiece toy that Jason doesn't have.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he did, but he's just like, no, I'm going to turn my life
he's
around.
like, no, I don't want
not
this
do
in
it."
my Masterpiece collection. But you are the Masterpiece collector.
I decided to kick it to the curb, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
And if you look at it,
Is
in
that your
Lion
version
mode,
of the Marge Simpson grumble?
No, that was
Help
more
me!
my Optimus Prime.
But yeah, it's even got the weird like attack mode in Lion mode, and if you actually look at it, the robot the robot kibble is fairly well hidden. So
I mean, you say the robot kibble is fairly well hidden, but there's obvious chunks of red and white showing.
yes,
through
but look at the other
surface of the line.
look at the other attempts of this, and you'll say, oh wow, this is a great improvement.
Yeah.
So yeah, Beast Wars, like none of the modern Kingdom Beast Wars figures have been perfect at disguising the robot kibble, which you don't expect them to be because you still want a good toy out of it. But this looks really good. I think it has a posable jaw as well, which is cool for like they didn't need to, but like they've it feels like this is someone's like that's made this his favorite figure, and they've done it justice.
I believe you'll find it is an articulated jaw. As
Yeah, it's open there.
Yeah.
I'm just dreading Transformers Lion King crossover. I don't think it'll happen.
Timon and Pumbaa Transformers would be cool.
Are they going to sing about the Allspark of life?
It's the well of all sparks.
It's the well.
What have I done?
No, we don't need that.
But I really do
does
like
that make
this.
Starscream Mustafa?
Mufasa.
No, they'll make him
Mufasa,
Scar, wasn't
not
it?
Mustafa, Mufasa. Yeah.
Mufasa's the dad.
Oh,
You're thinking of
Mufasa's the
Scar.
good guy. Yeah, it's been a
Yeah,
long
you're
time
thinking
since
of
I've looked at the
Scar.
Lion King. I'm thinking
Yeah.
of Scar.
Yeah,
Yes.
Scar.
Yeah, he's Starscream.
Starscream. Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
There we go.
Jesus.
There,
What have
I will
done?
actually point out there is a Mufasa movie coming. Disney's just announced recently as well.
Oh, brilliant!
Well,
just
I'm
what we
also
need.
announcing I don't care.
Just what we need. More live action remakes.
Well, I mean,
I'm actually
to be
not sure
fair
it's
though,
live action.
James L. Jones did recently retire as Darth Vader, so maybe he has to do this at Mufasa just to pay the bills.
James L. Jones got to eat. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back to the toy, I really like the look of this beast mode face. It actually looks like a lion.
It does. That's the thing. It does look like a lion.
I actually kind of like the gold eyes. Like it looks a little bit otherworldly, which I think is kind of appropriate for a white lion.
What's the gimmick they're saying? Oh, it's just got the features of the normal toy. Okay, that's cool. So it looks like they're calling Evo Fusion is like they're getting gimmicky toys, and they're calling they're just combining all their gimmicks into a line called Evo Fusion. So like I think in Hot Shots form it'll be the gun coming out like his Minicon gimmick, and Leo Primes will just be all of his hidden weapons that he has, and that'll be his Evo Fusion mode.
Yeah, I think so.
They're probably like Hasbro representatives are probably like insisting. Excuse me, you should call it Evo Fusion.
Maybe he's
So it sounds like evolution.
Sorry, guys, you have to say convert. But yeah.
Oh, I hate that convert.
They actually addressed that on the live stream.
Did they? What they say?
Yeah, I thought at no point did I think anyone from Hasbro would ever actually go out and say anything on a live stream or on public record about the use of convert versus transform. But I can't remember the woman's name. The woman from marketing. She was sitting in the studio hosting, and she even put on the derp voice and just said, "We can't say it. We can't for legal and marketing purposes. We're not allowed to say that our products can transform." They convert.
But they're the Transformers.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Well, that's interesting.
Things like trademark and copyright protection, but that's boring. Let's not go into it, please.
But the thing I will say, when I did build Lego Optimus Prime, it did have his famous catchphrase in the book, Autobots convert and roll out. Yeah, I'm just like, oh yes, that famous thing that Optimus Prime is known for saying. Yeah, I read it. I'm just like, this is completely wrong.
Autobots convert and roll out.
I think you might find that someone from Lego might have produced that book, sent it to Hasbro, and someone's just done a global search and replace on transform for convert and sent it back.
That's
weird.
That's weird.
Convert just sounds like they're changing like political persuasions.
Yeah. Hey guys! There's a big purple meanie we need to talk about.
Oh yeah, the best.
We'll see a doctor about it and get it popped.
Ew.
I don't know if you can pop this dude. Look!
Oh my god!
Look how
then we can't top him.
We are looking at Legacy Evolution Voyager Tarn.
My bloody Tarn Nation.
Yeah. That was, while I was watching the live stream last night, someone commented on Discord. They said, my wife just came past and said, does he say what in tarnation, and walked off. I was like, that's great. That was fantastic.
And then they got a divorce.
Yeah.
But, oh, dude, how did they do this? It looks perfect.
He does. He looks fantastic. I think they said on the stream last night that Tarn might have been designed by someone from Takara Tomy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Looks amazing. Very, very faithful to his comic appearance as well. Not sure if the mask comes off. Now there was a discussion coming up in here. Chris Hunt, your comment is too big to put on screen without like I'll do it and there'll be like 5 lines. There's tons of text on the bottom. Chris is not happy about some parts of Tarn. The head sculpt is a little bit off.
That's right. I'll have his copy.
He's not. The head sculpt is a little bit off. He said he does say there's a few things that the details are he's a little bit upset by. But I think on the balance, given that it's a $50 figure, and the only other Tarn that we've seen is the MMC Culture, which is.
Can I say something on that,
statues?
Actually? So I'll just speak on that. So Hasbro has released an official Tarn before, maybe even 2, but they've been non-transforming posable statues or whatever you like to call them. And like
there was a Flame Toys one, and there was also there was the Cyberverse one, although I'm not sure he actually did come out in the Cyberverse.
Yeah. But the thing is, so they released a high-end, great-looking Flame Toys version. A non-transforming figure of a transformer that is hooked on transforming. So it's taken us this long to get a transformer. It's good that we got it because it's just been so long. But like for the longest time, the only version of this like guy who regularly burns out his T-cog from transforming all the time because he's like addicted to it. We only got a non-transforming kind of statue guy, which I just find bizarre.
So Chris says he's not upset. Tarn does look amazing, but he was just pointing out the difference between this Tarn head and the Decepticon face on the artwork, the poster artwork, which we haven't brought up yet. But yeah.
I really do like the look of this toy. I even have a 3D printed Decepticon face, which I put onto like a spare Blitzwing when he was going for cheap, and that was my Tarn. But I've never like read the comics that this guy is associated with. I just really like the look of this guy.
The design's great. Yeah, even if you don't know who he is, you look at this toy and you're like, that's a cool looking bad guy.
Yeah.
So
wasn't his mask in the comic like a torture device?
No, that was one of his other minions, Voss, I believe. He could take off his face and then put it on other people. Like had drills and stuff on it, and you put it on his face and then
Okay.
Yes, that's right. That was Voss. Tarn's mask simply obscured his identity.
Identity.
Mm.
It looks. I love how they got the shoulder thing to work. I always wondered how that would work on an official figure, but it looks like they've done it well.
In many ways, and like the third-party figures that have release of this so far. There's the Iron Factory one and there's the MMC one. I got to be honest. It looks almost like they've borrowed a lot of stuff from those figures and just figured out how to do it at a $50 price point.
At an official, legal way.
He also does have the dual fusion cannons.
Fusion cannon.
As you might say, 2 fusion cannons. Look at yourself. But yes.
Yeah.
He also is lined with 5mm ports. There's 2 on each of his forearms there, and yeah, so
Each of his forearms.
Yeah, into his forearms. You can definitely plug things into this guy.
So this is his Evo.
We can actually see 2 of them on his shoulder on the tracks as well.
Yeah.
So this is his Evo Fusion Mode. So he can actually combine his guns, and that's what they're calling Tarn's Evo Fusion Mode. Is that he can make a big gun out of his 2 other guns.
Big gun.
So I'm not. I only know about this guy what I've read from the wiki. So he does actually transform. Like I thought the DJD.
Oh, he does. There's his alt mode.
So he's a tank.
Gorgeous.
He's a tank. Yeah.
He's a murder death tank.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
The perfect Decepticon colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it looks really good because yeah, when you're looking at articles in the wiki, they never really show alt modes. They always just show, robot mode pictures. So
no, this guy. So this guy is addicted to transforming, and he would So the T cog, which is the thing that allows Transformers to transform, he would transform so much that he burns it out, and then he takes the cogs from other victims he's killed and puts it into him.
Oh,
as nameless Facebook user says, who loves classical music? I think they might be playing a little bit of Empyrean Suite there. But, well, yes.
Yes.
So this is. Oh, I need this figure. Just I need this figure. But yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
Look. So that's Yeah, I don't really have that much more to say about Tarn. Like, he's fantastic.
Instant buy.
Can't wait.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think he's a genius. Yeah, fabulous. Really.
Ivan Reitman.
As I mentioned, he is the first figure to say comic universe on him, I believe. Even Blur on the Velocitron line did not say comic universe.
That's interesting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's because Blur was a character that existed before the comic universe, but this guy has definitely come from the comics. So yeah, yeah.
Is that sniper rifle mode meant to be the other member of the Justice?
No.
division?
It's just his guns combined.
No, it's meant to be like an homage sort of thing.
Yeah, but I reckon we'll get him, but that's not supposed to be Ross. No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's an interesting question too. Does the existence of Tarn, and they did call out in the stream that he is the leader of the Decepticon Justice Division. Does this mean that we are going to get official DJD characters? Because my goodness, I mean,
why not?
If we actually get official DJD toys, my God, it's only 10 years too late. But,
well, that's interesting because, like, Tarn's the only one you can really. Oh, and I guess Voss because he's a space gun. But like the other guys are all torture devices. So does Hasbro really want to sell torture devices to kids? Which I say yes, because like, have you seen kids these days? They're horrible. They already know. They already know how to torture people. So like, just giving them a torture device,
I'm just hoping there isn't someone from the comic universe that has 2 names that starts with N and T. Do you see what I mean?
No.
C-U-N-T.
Okay, right, yeah.
Right.
That's apparently.
I'm just wondering how that would show up in the store database.
Just excuse the dead air for a bit. Yeah. The TRA Gen. Yeah.
Voss would be core class. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, Mark said if they do Voss, he'd be core class. But yeah, don't know. We'll see. It's just so into Tarn, and I've got the MMC culture. I've got the Iron Factory Tarn. I've got these guys. I still want the official Tarn.
Why not?
I still want
Yeah.
it.
Because it looks good.
You have to, as the face of the Australian Transformers podcast, you have to have official merchandise.
As
yeah.
the head of the podcast, you have to have everything.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Must
Everything
have
please,
official.
everything.
everyone, please send me your toys. I will. What does the Borg say? I'll
Assimilate.
I'll assimilate your collection and add it to the add your collection's uniqueness to my own. Yes.
That's funny.
That is it. That's it for Legacy Evolution. I don't think we have that much more to talk about from reveals from Pulsecon, which is probably a good thing because we've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. But I do want to bring up the poster.
Oh yes. And why do we want to do this?
Well, there's quite a lot to see on the poster. There's a lot of very very subtle detail, right? So obviously one of the big features here is Tarn. Now they've taken a bit of license with Tarn's likeness here, but there was something interesting that they said last night during the stream. They said, "Oh, look, it's pretty obvious who the main head on the poster is," and then they said, "Or is it?" And it does make me wonder if there's actually something yet to be revealed about what the head on the poster actually is.
Something quintessonic?
It looks like a quintessson almost.
It almost does. I was actually going to say that perhaps this is actually a hint that the Titan might be the Nemesis, because the Nemesis features in the artwork again.
It does,
and it's chasing a Quintesson ship as well.
Yeah.
So there's sorry, I'll zoom it in a little bit more. Might not come up so well on the stream. But so let's do a quick check of what we've got here, right? Like we've got the Nemesis, we've got the Quintesson Cruiser. There is a clear Armada Optimus Prime there, which we've seen an Armada Optimus Prime toy hanging around in prototype form for a few years now, and they haven't quite been sure what to do with him. I think he's too complicated for a leader, and it makes me wonder whether Armada Optimus might be the commander figure for next year.
Well, so as soon as I saw this, I think my first thought was just seeing how detailed that figure was. The mold of this thing we saw like 2 years ago, however long it was. He looked way too detailed for a leader, so I'm pretty sure he will be a commander. But just I'm thankful that like we are getting him, because that mold looked too good just to let nothing happen with.
Yeah, I think they knew it as well. Yeah.
So
now,
I'm super excited for him.
Are we looking at breakdown here?
That is breakdown.
Yes.
Okay.
With the
and
wing.
it has been pointed out that behind Leo Prime here there is an animated space bridge,
which is awesome. Please let that mean we're getting some animated love.
Hopefully it means that there'll be some animated love. I also wonder whether that might mean that the prowl that we've seen on product listings for next year might actually be an animated prowl rather than a repack of the Earthrise prowl, which will annoy everyone who wanted the Ironhide and Prowl 2-pack to get reissued, but there you go. Interestingly, there's the G2 Laser Prime again. I think
he'll be repacked.
I think he's due for a what they call a packaging refresh now, as they call it, instead of repack or PR.
Yeah.
There's Hot Shot
There's
with his cannon. There is a ton. There's a plague of Insecticons.
Yeah, there we go. We'll get the rest of them. That's great.
Yeah. So clearly we've got Bombshell, we've got Kickback, who we've already got, and Shrapnel there.
Or Sharpshot, whatever they want to call him.
Yeah, and then we've also got.
Oh my god!
I do wonder whether this might actually be referencing the deluxes.
No, 100%. They are the deluxe Insecticons. I did not notice that. Wow, good spot.
Yeah. This is what happens when you zoom things in
This is what happens when you actually look at stuff.
What exactly are the 8 pixels underneath Bombshell's right hand? We don't know.
No.
Plenty of Junkions in the foreground here. We've got one there that looks like he's the sort of traditional motorbike mode. We've got another one that's sort of an armored trike there. There's that's Pissed Off Mater, and it looks almost like looks like Lockdown almost there. But
Yeah.
Can I tell you what they've done
Yeah.
there? They've done what I thought they'd do. They've combined the front half of that. They've combined two bikes
Yeah.
with the back end of Wreck
you're
Hook,
right. Yes.
and they've made their own vehicles. So this confirms you can make bizarre vehicles. So that's and actually, if you look at the sidecar to the motorbike, that's part of Wreck Hook. Or Scrap Hook. That's not a sidecar. That's the front. That's a front half of the
Actually, is that Scrapbook or is that the car, the lockdown
it's actually
car?
it's different pieces of them.
Yeah, so they're all just sharing
none of these
pieces.
none of these are straight up junkions as you'll buy them. They've all got pieces moved.
Yeah, that's literally two bikes strapped to the front of Wreck Hook, Scrap Hook.
Mark asks. Mark says maybe this is detritus here. I do think that it's possible detritus will just be a junkion, so it's possible that he's not a repaint of Siege Hound. There's Dinobots here, looking a little bit large for the core class, and this. So there's another repaint of the Skids mold here, which we could recognise from the colours as crosscut. Very interestingly, there's two versions of this poster that were released. The first version, or one of the versions that went up on Mark Marr's Instagram, that's Skids, not crosscut. And then I think someone must have realised that they done goofed by putting Skids in there and then changed his colour. So yeah, so
Cool.
lots to see. I don't think there's any detail down the front and the foreground. I do want to say as well that the artwork that we're seeing, I'll zoom this back out. The artwork that we're seeing on packaging, on poster art, everything, the artwork has been fantastic. Transformers packaging artists and series artists have been knocking it out of the park for a really long time, and I would really, really like to see some collected volume of work, even if it's just at the end of one of the lines, just put out a retrospective book. You can even just print it on demand. Like, you don't have to like pre-print 20,000 copies or anything. Just go with a print on demand service that puts the poster art, the series promo art, the package arts. Like, put these things somewhere that fans can buy them, and actually put them somewhere where they can appreciate.
Give the artists a lot more recognition.
Yeah, I would also like to see them give the artists of this work a lot more recognition. That's quite right.
And as you said before, I'm putting money on that face being the face of the Nemesis, because I just thought we already have an arc that has the face of the Autobot symbol. Why can't we have why don't we just get a good Nemesis? And I'd love a Nemesis. I'd adore a Nemesis. Yeah. So I think that's going to be the combined the giant robot mode's head. So that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. So I think there's a good chance that the Nemesis is going to be the Titan. And I think there's a good chance that we're looking at its face as well.
I agree. I 100% think that's exactly what that is.
So yeah. Alrighty. We are well into we're well into a second hour, and I think we do need to bring things to a bit of a close. I think we're done with Pulsecon. I don't think there was any much more. There was a Magic the Gathering crossover that was announced, which I'm really happy about, because for once it doesn't mean that I have to buy a new Transformer, because they've actually taken Transformers and put them into Magic the Gathering cards, and I do not care, so I don't need to. But I am, however, happy for the people who do play Magic, because this actually did get quite a bit of good buzz from around people who are into Transformers who do play Magic. They were just like, this is cool. So they're basically taking. I'll get rid of the screen share. They're basically taking characters and their shattered glass versions and putting them into Magic. So there's an expansion pack for Magic that sees them jump universes, and so they can. Part of the plot line for that is jumping into the Transformers universe and then jumping into the Shattered Glass universe as well.
Oh, sick! I like that. I'm hoping. So I have the Transformers card game, and I'm hoping that I haven't played it yet, but I'm planning on playing it soon. I'm hoping that we can get some Shattered Glass love in that, because again, it's deserved. I think there's some big fans of Shattered Glass out there, so I'm glad there's more Shattered Glass media coming out. Yeah,
a little bit of bringing the Shattered Glass universe into something else. Yeah, you're quite right. Look, we will probably be back on a regular news run next week. So things that have come up in the meantime, we can talk a lot about the Earthspark Deluxes that Mikey and I got to touch and play with a little bit at Oz Comic Con, and we can talk about those I think next episode. But I think for now, I think that's the end of news. While we have three of us up, do we want to talk about new acquisitions?
Sure.
I'm going to awkwardly throw to Bradley first because it's been a long time since Bradley's been on, and I know he has new figures since he's been on. But maybe just choose some of your favorite most recent acquisition.
Well,
tell us.
There's Junk Heap and Retgar, which I was showing earlier. There's this guy. I just like the look of him on the throne.
Beautiful.
Jaxus, yeah.
He just looks really, really good on that throne.
He does. It looks like he's taking a comfortable poo.
Piecing together Metasaur. So I currently got him waiting for the other parts to arrive. That's why he's holding his arm up so stiff. Because I don't think he'll really... No, he doesn't seem to want to move. So I've got him like that. So he's holding... He looks like he's declaring war, but, whatever. And
it's good.
I really like the engineering that they've done here with the coming apart and everything. Probably the one thing I'm most excited to have, though, Goldbug.
Nice.
Very nice.
It's just he often gets overlooked. Other times he's just been like, I think the Takara did Goldbug, but it was literally just Bumblebee in gold plastic. So it's just nice to have a toy. I don't know if I've got stress marks on him or.
From memory, I think the plastic is a bit wavy. It's actually gold plastic, but yeah, it's hard to tell on the stream, but yeah.
Yeah, see, I got like a crack there and a crack there, but they're just so like in sync. I think it might actually be a feature, but it's just really nice to have. I mean, I've been collecting classics since the mid 2000s or something, and it's just nice to have Goldbug.
Yeah,
yeah, it's cool. He's a good version of him as well.
Yeah, he's pretty sweet. I got the other I think this is one of the official Insecticons, isn't it? There's a G1 Insecticon, but he was never in the cartoon. He's the
deluxe Insecticon.
Yeah. So it's nice to have an official toy of him. I never collected the 80s ones, and yeah, it's nice to have one of him as well. I also took out the Scorponok, transformed him, and I named, for some reason in my head canon, this is Beast Wars Black Zarak, but I have no idea how the hell that works.
No, that's cool. I like it. That's nice.
And yeah, I got I didn't get G2 Prime, but I did get Scourge.
Very nice.
Yeah, he's cool.
So now I have to figure if I'm going to have him in the case alongside the subscription service Scourge, if I'm going to put that Scourge into storage.
Tough decision.
Decisions. Yeah. But he looks amazing.
Cool.
Mikey, what have you got for acquisitions there?
Okay, so as you mentioned, we did Oz Comic Con last week, and
I know what your acquisitions are. Go on, yeah.
I have some stuff. Yes,
Yeah.
I've actually got quite a few. So starting off with the Oz Comic Con acquisitions, went around to should have remembered the name of the shop. I'm sorry. It was something collectibles. But
that sounds likely at Oz Comic Con.
Yeah, right. They had these little dudes, which I haven't seen for quite some time, but they are. Oh, there we go. They're little spy changes. They're universe spy changes. So we have Silver Streak, who's this little mold right here. We have Wheeljack, who's this guy right here. And the main reason I bought these three because I've wanted to experience this mold, but this is the X-Brawn version of the mold, but it's repainted into Hoist, So a little spy changer hoist. And he's just a really unique little spy changer because he was in pretty much this mold was invented for the show, I believe, the 2001 show, to fit in with the some of these molds, which might not have been released in G2 that I can remember. So I thought that was really cool. But I just really like this guy. He's really weird. He's got this big, dumb, giant arm. And they're just fun little Matchbox cars at the end of the day. And yeah, so they were only $15 each, brand new. Universe toys, like who's selling Universe toys for $15 these days? So that was really cool. Another thing that I got from one of my mates was Sandstorm.
Nice.
Now I thought I'd bring this up. So I believe this is one of the last examples of the time that Hasbro has used the clear windows for their packaging. I think this Buzzsaw and Night Prowler, I think it is, were the last ones that actually have come with the protective windows. So that's pretty cool.
So no one really knows why that is, but it's thought that it was a request from Walmart.
Yeah, well, that's interesting.
Oh, they're the Walmart exclusives.
They are, but they came out at Target, so they're the Target exclusives here.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe they had the windows because they were going to be high end collectible, like Generation Selects toys. I didn't realize they were like mass retail release.
Yeah,
but
it's a bit of a mystery. We just don't really know why it happened. They just came out at that transition point where maybe it was just that Walmart thought they were getting with plastic, so they pushed the point, or maybe something else happened. Maybe they came out of a different factory. But yeah.
So I believe this is the last one I need for my Beast Wars collection from Kingdom and Legacy. So I do have Buzzsaw and so the weight is Buzzsaw, Sandstorm, and I believe Night Prowler. From that exclusive line, and this is the last guy, so I'm happy to have him. The Scorponok mold is a good mold, and it's got the toy accurate head on it, like Brad's does have. But
yeah, well, I got the toy accurate head on, but I also got the spare one just sitting here as a reminder.
Yeah, which is cool that they came with those things. Yeah. And the last thing that I got is the brand new Trainbot Getsui.
MPG02. Yeah.
MPG02. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I was gonna have Shoki in here to have comparisons, but I'm sure people know what he looks like next to him. Yeah, so I only transformed this guy tonight, so they obviously come in the train mode. Train mode is stunning, really well detailed. Robot mode, perfect. Like, it's a lot better than Shoki's because like the back kibble is a lot less, in my opinion, so it's a little bit better.
Yeah, there's no bullet train nose to hide.
Yeah, right. He does have chunky legs, but again, what are you going to do? It's a big long rectangle turning into a robot. Really well articulated. Transformation though, oh boy. To say it was difficult is one thing. It's definitely not something that I'll ever be able to memorize.
Mm.
You say this now, but
no, I won't. Because
does it feel brittle?
No. There's one thing that these things are not, and they're not brittle.
I feel like the complaints of brittleness as a thing where people have just gone, well, the outer shells of them are painted clear plastic, which they've done so that they can get the transparent effect on the windows, and so people assume that it's brittle, but it's actually quite thick, clear plastic, so it's not brittle at all.
So I dropped him today, and he was fine. So
I was wondering why there was a sudden pause there as you decided whether or not to drop yourself in it, but yeah.
Yeah, no. But something that Jason, I believe, picked up on last night. So we did an episode 7 of the roundtable of Toyo Roundtable last night. And as I was assembling these train tracks, Jason noticed that I had them assembled in a different way. And when you assemble them correctly, you have a giant sword sheath on the bottom of this train track. You can see up here, the point of the sword goes down, and then you've got the hilt and the handle. So I don't know if Raiden's known for having a giant sword, but it looks like...
Yeah.
Is he known for having a sword?
I believe so, because he was in the Headmasters cartoon. He was like a Japanese exclusive character, and I think he was based on like a samurai, like his
Okay. Well,
combined
Raiden.
mode.
That
Yeah.
makes sense because of Raiden, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But so this is gonna be alluding to a sword we're getting. It'll be quite a big sword because it takes up the whole of the train track. And also another point of contention is yes, you can connect all of the tracks together, but when it comes to like rolling all the combining all the trains and rolling them together, they won't work because all the some of the track sizes will be different. So this track size, I know there's a different term for it, is actually smaller than it's more together than
The track that came with Shuki.
Shuki, yeah. So Shuki's is wider. This one's is shorter because they're different trains and they've got different wheel setups. I don't know. I'm not a train expert.
They go on different tracks and different networks in Japan.
Yeah.
And so that's why they have different gauges on their rails.
Yeah.
This also caused a bit of consternation amongst people this week as well. But
Yeah.
Consternation's uproar.
Yes, I think it's okay. But yeah.
But it's at the end of the day, you can connect all the tracks together because that's why they have the extra pieces on the thing. But you won't be able to move it across, which I don't care because I'm not going to display my $100 trains in a giant line. So yeah, but like that was a cool thing that Jason noticed yesterday. We are getting a sword with this guy, and yeah. So yeah, the other thing
it
is
seems like it, but as Mark has pointed out, Raiden's always been gun armed and not sword armed. So like, I don't know. Yeah,
that's interesting. Well, I'm sorry, we're not the only one that sees this, right? If you look at that, that looks like a sword, right? You got handle, hilt, blade. So
I just really like how
know.
in the Headmasters cartoon, the Decepticons just used a space bridge, but the Autobots needed a fucking train to use the space bridge. It was just very, very like Raiden was pretty cool to look at, and I should start collecting these toys because the original G1 Raiden toy is probably either dust or thousands of dollars.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So,
it
could be thousands of dollars of dust.
Thousands of dollars of dust.
Yeah.
I had a.
It's actually the title of my autobiography.
Okay.
I didn't know you were a drug addict.
I had a KO, not knowing, but I had a KO version of Raiden when I was little. They had a whole box set of the train bots, and I tore it to shreds because it was a KO and it was poor quality. But that was cool to own it at the time. I didn't even know who it was because I didn't know he was an actual Transformer, so that was cool to have at the time. So it's good to have these, as an official thing. So these, Jason, what are these called again? These parts of the train?
I believe they're pentagraphs.
So the pentagraphs. So he comes with 2 die-cast pentagraphs. They are die-cast. They do not. So they fit in on the train, and they have nowhere to fit.
They have no place on his robot mode.
So if that annoys you, then that's up to you.
If that annoys you, then perhaps leave them in the box.
Yeah, or just leave them in train mode because then they'll be on something.
Yeah.
Which is a fair thing to do because they're really cool in train mode. And then you finally just have a adapter piece to put on to attach him to the a flight stand that you can get separately. But yeah, no, he's a cool toy. Ridiculously hard to transform. But I'm happy with him and he's cool. So yeah, that's all I got.
Would you recommend him to someone like me who's a fan of the Headmasters cartoon and actually kind of like Raiden?
100%. Yeah.
I think if you like Raiden, you should definitely be getting.
If you like the cartoon, then you would like the concept of Raiden. And the thing is, right, how often do we get train transformers that's not Astro Train and is not ultimately flawed because he has to also turn into a shuttle?
Yeah.
So the fact that we now have 6, and they're very decent. Like both of these robots are cool robots by themselves. So if you just want 6 cool transforming train robots, that's it. That you've got them. They're super articulated. Like they've got arm articulation. They've got everything right. And they've got train tracks. So it's the whole thing. And they have a bonus of combining. And if you don't like the combined modes, like I know some people already don't like the combined mode from the silhouette, you don't have to combine it. But like, I don't see when we will ever get if we would ever get another group of trains again. So if you can get them, if you can find them, especially for a decent price, jump on them as sooner rather than later, because once this whole set is out, they're just going to double in price because people would have made their minds up about them, and we'll actually notice how good they are, and people will be like, hey, I need to get those. So don't and they're official MPs, they're just another MP. So if you want another MP to add to your collection, and the cool thing is, right, they're not huge either, right? So if you look at the size, here's scale for a cam.
Oh, nice.
They're not big. So if you wanted this as a chug representation of Raiden and the train bots, it will work. So they don't necessarily work as like real scale masterpiece toys, but that's fine.
You've sold me. I'm gonna have to get in touch with J-Mart.
Yeah, and I think he will fit in. I think he will fit well. I think he'll fit in well with your Menasor that's coming out now, because he's not overly huge, and he'll fit in with like Piranacon. That I've got both versions of King Poseidon and God Neptune, and I think they'll fit in scale with that. So, to answer your question, yes, I think you should buy them, and I think you should buy them soon, because I can only see them going up in value.
Yeah, the only other train bot combiner I can think of is from Robots in Disguise.
Rail Racer, who is still to this day a good toy.
Yeah,
a very good toy.
What about Jason? Have you got anything?
What have you got, Jason?
I do have some acquisitions. I've got two lots of acquisitions that I'm going to show. First is a screen share. I'm just going to add this in here. Oh, I've put us in a weird mode. Hang on.
You made it weird, Jason.
There we go. So this is this week's acquisitions. Here's what I prepared earlier. So looking here, two of my Amazon Wreck and Rule collection orders just popped up out of nowhere this week. Was not expecting them until early October instead of late September. So ship they did. The rest are due in November apparently, or some shit. I don't know. Like the release of that set has just been all over the place for Amazon Australia. It's very, very upsetting. And there's also the new Velocitron Speedier 500 Shadow Strip and Crasher. Now, I think we talked about these two last episode, Mikey. Did we?
Yes. Yeah.
I think we did. They appeared in New Zealand a couple of weeks ago, and they have officially popped up in Australian Kmart stores in the last 2 days. So, Shadow Strip is a black G2 version of Drag Strip, and does also have a spot on Menasor's arm. I think she can. I'm not sure if Shadow Strip's.
No, it's just. I think he's the same gender as Drag Strip.
Shadow Strip can take Drag Strip's place on Menasor's arm, and we then also have the Formula One repaint of Mirage into Crasher. Crasher is a GoBots character. It's really nice to see a sort of a modern take on Crasher, and she looks really nice. Like the color scheme is really cool with sort of like the white and the red and the purple, and the big sort of peach colored face is fantastic as well. So the two pictured there, they're imports, but they have started to hit Kmart as well. If you go into your local Kmart store, you might find these for $35 each. And the T-shirt down front is a forthcoming T-shirt. I picked this one up at Oz Comic Con. It was gifted to me by Hasbro, and it is an upcoming T-shirt from Culture Kings. Their range of T-shirts will be releasing this month. This is the Autobot version with Prime in a red color scheme. There is a Decepticon version with Megatron in a purple color scheme, and I'm led to believe that there's also other T-shirts in the range as well that will be coming out, and with different designs as well. So keep an eye on the Culture Kings website for the release of these, but also keep an eye on our Facebook group, because when they do get released, we will of course post some information in the group about them. Just letting you know that they're out there. I think they'll end up being about $50 each. Not cheap, but they are a very cool T-shirt design. I'll kick out the screen share now and put us back up here. The other thing that I've got this week is another e-hobby release. I've got
Damn.
Got a nice e-hobby size swipe. If I try to hold this so that the monitor doesn't reflect on it as well. So yeah, nice e-hobby side swipe. It's not the New Year variant with the gold hubcaps. It's a straight up reissue, but my goodness, like it is a minty fresh, and the box is still sealed. Side swipe, G1 side swipe. Very very happy to have him. Picked him up for a song. It was about $100 on eBay.
God, I don't want to hear you sing.
Oh, I got the moves. I just don't like to use them. But yeah, picked up the e-hobby sideswipe reissue, and I picked up Crosscut and Clampdown when I was at TF Nation. So I've been plugging a couple of holes in the e-hobby collection recently as well, which does remind me. I wanted to take some e-hobby figures to Oz Comic Con, but we had enough stuff on the stand anyway, so it's okay really.
I would just like to.
That's it.
I was going to say, I am looking forward to. I know it was announced like months ago, but was it Magnificus? The Studio Series Perceptor repaint. I'm looking forward to that.
He does look good.
So he leaked about a month ago. He hasn't been announced anywhere yet, but it is thought that he will be a Gen Select figure next year. We will see. Yeah.
Is the one I've got at the moment is that old Reveal the Shield truck, whatever the fuck it is.
That's also an e-hobby version, so it is up in my in my e-hobby shelf in the cabinet behind me. So
cool.
So yeah, I think that about does us. We are over 2 hours now. We are into our
sorry, Brad.
Yeah, sorry, Brad, but we are having a bit of fun, so it's just going to be a long edit. I think that's about it. Brief TCCA club news. I will mention that memberships are now open. Please check out the website or the Facebook group for details. We do have a membership promotion. We're trying to get to 200 members as fast as possible, and we've offered some incentive prizes to get us there. We did get to 100 members in September, but we've extended the offer for another week to see what we can stir up. There's a number of members who haven't renewed yet, so we want to give them a chance to renew and get in on the action. Prizes include a Velocitron Cosmos, the rarest bot in Australia at the moment, an Origin Bumblebee, and a Kingdom Red Alert bots that were not released in Australia. And because we got to over 100 members in September in the original period, there is a Combiner Wars Devastator up for grabs as well. And if we get to 200 members, we will add the Earthrise, Dirge, and Ramjet 2-pack into the mix.
Wow!
So hoping that we can stir up a lot of memberships from people in the next week or so. Membership is $10. You get a cool member pack and you get access to club resources. Our Facebook community is always is obviously, because it's a Facebook community, will always remain free. But you get access to a few extra cool bits if you do become a member and support us in what we do. That being said, it's time to end the show. So thank you for listening, everyone. If you've been watching along with the live record, and we have been watching the numbers jump in and out, and we've been very much enjoying the comments and interaction from everyone. So thank you very much. Thank you for checking us out live. You will find out more about these stories. Probably there's not really any show notes for this week, so like it's really just one story on TFW 2005, or you can go and watch the Pulse recap video. You can get in touch with us in the Australian Transformers Weekly Facebook page, or in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia Facebook group. And of course, the podcast's official website is transformersweekly.podbean.com. We are a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia, a registered club in Victoria run by volunteers donating their time, effort, energy, money, and Friday and sometimes Saturday nights to make collecting life in Australia better for everyone. We want to build the Australian Transformers collecting community by engaging fans around the country. We make content like this podcast, we attend live in-person events like Oz Comic Con, and we run Facebook's largest dedicated Australian Transformers discussion and sales communities. You can find out more information about the benefits of TCCA membership and how to show your support for what we do at transformerscca.com. Going off world, you can find Transformers on Twitter. You can find many Transformers on Twitter. You can find TCCA on Twitter at TransformersCCA. You'll find myself on Twitter at JM77. You'll find Bradley on Twitch at Ragemus Prime. And Mikey has also joined the Twitter party at Vegemite Mike, who we know that the good folks over at the Triple Takeover podcast are extremely fond of your username. So
Yeah,
that is fantastic. Thank you.
made it just for them. So
Yes, just for them. Well, it did get a laugh out of 6 hour Matt, so that's good.
yeah.
That is it. That is it from us, guys. Thank you for watching. We will be back with more Transformers news soon. Hopefully next week. We'll see how we go, but in the fullness of time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.
Bye.